Hey everybody, in looking at the CFAD Edu Innovator mission here, and what we've already accomplished, we've got the arts appreciation courses in the works. They're being built, hopefully be ready for the fall. But I was looking at, okay, what's the next thing and how can I tie this into my CLIA certification and getting all that worked out. And kind of what I settled on, and I had this idea last summer, but I've been talking to some of the folks who do private instruction at both CFAD and at ACM, and trying to figure out how can we improve what we've got going on now. How can we increase effectiveness? Another thing I want to accomplish is how can we build connections between ACM and UCO Music School? Right now, we're kind of, both of us on islands, and there's a little bit of talking back and forth, but not to the point of collaboration or cooperation in a way that I think would serve both schools. So I'm looking for a way to do that, and I think I've come up with something. And the other thing I want to do is provide opportunities for cross-pollination of ideas. You've got teachers, private instruction teachers at the UCO School of Music that are brilliant, some of the best in the state, and you've got some wonderful, talented people at ACM, and it seems like we should be able to share resources in some way that's going to raise all boats. And so I've been looking for something that we can do that, and I think I've got it, but I want to walk you through this. So let's look at a typical voice or instrumental private lesson and how that lays out. So we have these elements here using LEM, and you know, it's basically there's information presented, there is an opportunity to practice in a classroom with the teacher and conversation between the student and the teacher, and there's also feedback. When each of these happens, it can change each week, but also can change depending on the instructor. But all these elements are always there. So the practice, a lesson may start with a warm-up, and then you talk a little bit, and then you sing a song or you play an exercise, and the teacher comments on that, gives you feedback, which leads into a conversation. It might be then some presentation of some information. You could watch a video together, whatever it is. But that's the basic idea. So that's what your private instruction is each week. And that changes, that's different for each student. So in a semester, if a teacher has 8 or 10 students, each one of them will be in a different place, just depending on the talent, the gifts that they have, and how much instruction they've had in the past. The next thing they do is the students go off, and I've got this experiential block, the students go off and they practice on their own for the rest of the week before they come back either for another lesson or they move on to some kind of proof of having mastered something. And that can take the form of either just singing for the teacher within the next voice lesson or playing for the teacher, or it can be some kind of a concert or recital situation. And in that situation, they'd get feedback from the instructor. They might even get feedback from their peers. But this is the basic layout of what's done throughout the semester. So in talking to the teachers and using the Envision Guide, there's always kind of this problem, and it always centers on the experiential portion where the student goes off and practices on their own. Not totally surprising. Because the student's trying to remember what the teacher told them. The student's been given some resources, possibly, hey, go to YouTube, watch this video, or sing along with this song, this instrumental karaoke track thing, and do that. But I think we can do better. And in trying to find ways that we can incorporate D2L into private lessons, kind of came up with this. So this is the classroom portion, the portion of the private instruction with the instructor doesn't really change much. Where it changes is when we get into this experiential practice situation, but now we take that into an online asynchronous environment in D2L. And the idea here is that the student is supposed to go through a bunch of steps as they practice. They're supposed to warm up. They may have a song to sing. Their teacher may have said, hey, I want you to go watch this video online. But there's no mechanism for bringing all that stuff together, or at least there hasn't until now. The idea that I've been broaching with the teachers is that within D2L, rather than using the modules in a sequential manner, so everybody goes from Module 1 to Module 2 to Module 3 to Module 4 out to 16 for the 16 weeks, what we're going to do is create information repositories in each module that may relate to a specific subject. So for singers, it may be Module 1 is all about vocal health. And within that module, as you can see here in the online asynchronous, there are only 3 information blocks here, but there could be infinite number. But the idea here is that, so vocal health, there's going to be a video talking about vocal health, showing how the voice works. There's going to be a series of warm-ups that help build proper breathing technique. If it's a guitar player, it may be how to, warm up, how to loosen up your fingers, how to play bar chords, how to do whatever. So each of these things is organized in a different module. Drummers, it may be timing. So they may have something they need to time to that they can check, or play to that they can check their time, or playing certain figures, triplets or whatever. So we organize these things. There's a lot of flexibility for the teachers, which is great. But even more so, there's opportunities for sharing information and for building let's say, kind of a drummer template, or a voice instructor template, or guitar instructor template, or saxophone, or whatever it is. Because each one of these instruments has a different need. So, but the idea here is we give maximum flexibility. We support the students in their practicing by giving them what they want and what the teachers are trying to give them. And this lets them be more effective and move on to then the proof of developing their skills, that they can do a recital and they get feedback from the professor, and that leads them to the end, to the next thing. So the idea here is that D2L becomes a knowledge repository that can be effectively used by the teachers. They can pick and choose different things. They can customize it for each student in saying, go to Module 1 for this, then I want you to move to Module 4 and pick up this. But the teachers, over time, are continually adding information. And the students then, they know where they have to go, where all the stuff, everything that they need is in one place. So that's the idea. How can this work to increase effectiveness? Obviously, if the students have a pre-planned, basically, practice time that is laid out with all the information there, there's more chance that they're going to do it and do a good job at it. The second thing is what I want to do is get, let's say, the voice teachers from UCO are very skilled and have skills and things that we don't have at ACM, and there's things that ACM has that the teachers at UCO don't. Let's get together and kind of maybe have the UCO teachers come down and do a master class. Maybe have the ACM students come up, or the ACM teachers come up and talk about what they do. And then the other thing here is I want to provide opportunities for cross-pollination of ideas. And in doing that, the thought is that within D2L, we have some kind of shared links or repository that all the teachers can pull from. So somebody finds a cool link on whatever, vocal health, they can put it up and make it available to every other voice teacher. And the same thing for guitars, and same thing for drums, and the same thing for bass, and the same thing for all the other instruments. And that way, and we encourage everybody to post 3 links, 3 things that you find that you think are really cool up, that everybody else can go up and take a look at, and possibly use in their shell for their students. So that's the idea. I hope you find it interesting. The response from the teachers I've interviewed so far has been amazing. They're really into this, and I intend to use the Envision Guide and go ahead and interview more teachers and across the board. I've talked to people at ACM and also at CFAD, but I want to really reach out to even more and try to get everybody on board. So look forward to your comments, and yeah, I really want to hone this and get this down so it can be used for next fall.